So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by the Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by the Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit and I'm the tiny one.
Back again. I love the hot seat. Bring it. MTG, bring it.
Way too much energy for me in the morning.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, no.
Yeah.
Well, I think today we're going to have an interesting theme. You know, you listen to YouTube videos and try to educate yourself. And one of the phrases you often hear, and we use also, is living inside out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just, from you hear different people talking about it, you kind of also understand that people have different perspective on what that means. From someone, it means that if you're a unicorn, be the unicorn. I don't agree with that. I don't think you do either. I think living from the inside out for us means something different. So that's the question today. What does inside out living mean?
Excellent. So, I remember when I was a kid, chubby little Jason having problems with his math homework.
Jason was a little bit chubby then, yeah.
I was a little. I was husky.
Husky.
Yeah,
Husky.
I had cankles.
Yeah.
I didn't have ankles. I had cankles. Yeah, I was a little husky.
Could be all of the cookies you ate.
Yeah, it was 100% the cookies I was eating. Yeah, I was too cute to say no to, and
Yeah.
I was anyway. I remember being a little kid and looking at people who were excellent. I recognized excellence very early in my life. And I'm like, I want to be like that guy, or I want to be like that girl. I want to do what they're doing. I want to be like they're being. I want to be them. And my dad used to say, Jason, your job is to be the perfect you. You can't be perfect, but you can be the perfect you. And I always hated that because I had absolutely positively no understanding of what that meant
The idea what that
at
means.
all, right? Because perfection doesn't exist in anything but an abstract um, perspective. It's
Because perfect means without fault. Is that kind of
yeah,
the
it
idea?
means without faults, but in relationship to what?
Yes,
Right? Because
exactly.
everybody has a different perspective and a different expectation. So I remember sitting at a meal with a guy who was an official gourmet. He had like this little thing on his jacket showing that he's
He's the
educated.
guy.
That guy made my life miserable. I was eating such a good meal and he just did not like anything that came out. Oh, the eggs are too cold. There's too much salt on this. Oh, the fish has too much of a smoky taste on it. The wine was wrong, the bread was wrong, the meat was wrong, everything was wrong with the meal. And from my point of view, if he'd just not said anything, I would have enjoyed that meal so much. It
Mm.
would have been perfect, the perfect meal with me. I had this amazing view. I had beautiful people
Where
around
was this?
me. This was at weirdly enough, at a chiropractic conference in Oslo.
In Oslo.
Yeah, in
I'm like
Holmenkollen.
New York City.
No,
Oslo.
Oslo's a beautiful city. Like
Yeah.
I was up in Holmenkollen,
Oh, oh,
up in
oh.
one of those
Mm.
fancy
Yeah,
schmancy restaurants looking out
mm.
over the whole,
The
the
city.
alpine
Yeah.
cityscape, it was beautiful. And the food was amazing. And he just didn't like anything. He was just going to basically apply his ego to this and just show everybody how much he knew, but also made everybody's life miserable. like, yeah, like I just paid $800 for this meal and it
And it's shit,
sucked. It's
apparently.
apparently it's shit, right? But if he hadn't said anything, I would have enjoyed it. It would have been perfect for me.
Mm.
So in in every situation, there are different points of views, there are different ways of calibrating, different ways of expecting what's going to go on. We always talk about the dun da 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 da.
Then
Yeah, everybody's going to finish that little song there, little rhyme there,
if
because
not, you
there's
feel very uncomfortable.
you feel uncomfortable, right? And then it's not perfect, right? There's like this OCD we live with in our lives, whether we like it or not. There's ritualistic behaviors and expectations, and our mind is a prediction machine, which is constantly trying to figure out what's coming next. And if reality doesn't meet what you expect on the inside, then there's a lack of perfection. And this is what most people make. The reason why I said all that is people make the mistake. They think that living from the inside out means ignoring or making wrong the outside.
Mm.
It's not about making the outside wrong, but it has to do with making what you're doing authentic for you and from your authentic self. So,
So what does that mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't ever present personal development just on the basis of inside out. It's always up, down, and inside out, right? Because the up means that you have created or formulated some kind of vision for your life. You found a way to have personal meaning in the things that you're doing. And then you do things from the inside out that are meaningful for who?
You.
For you. And even if somebody else thinks that you're stupid because you don't appreciate or because you don't understand how shitty the meal is. You see, I enjoyed the meal because I'm obviously not a gourmet, right? I was enjoying myself, but he thought I was ridiculous and stupid because
How can you like this shit?
how could you like that? Like the eggs are too cold. Like there's too much smoky taste on the meal. Like, dude, this it's amazing. For me, it was authentically enjoyed. Whereas from his side, if I had allowed him to decide how the meal was going to taste for me, then I would not be authentically me, having my
Mm.
authentic experience. So also, if I would have to go to that restaurant, that schwanky restaurant, to get that schwanky meal in order to feel like a person, feel like a good person, when that's actually not something that I value because these other people value it and I want them to like me. Me wanting, needing them to like me changing my preferences, not because it's good for me, but because I want to fit in. That's living from the outside in.
So getting the Rolex because the commercials, and when you are this kind of person, you have a Rolex or a
Exactly.
Porsche or whatever it
I'm
is.
successful and likable. Look at my watch.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
means anything. It means that you somehow got enough capital together or were able to steal. I mean, for all I know, you stole the Rolex,
For
right?
all I know, you can't afford food because
You
you bought the Rolex.
exactly. Or even worse, your kids can't afford food. Like there's all kinds of craziness out there living from outer trappings. Now, the issue is that dun da 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 da.
Vi finns inte säga det nu. Även den.
Yeah. So we have preconceived ideas about way the things should be. and the way people should be. So, yeah, a person who is righteous should be successful, and a person who's successful must have good clothes, and a person must has good clothes also should be in shape. And that person should have these things, and all of these things make them obviously extremely intelligent, right?
Mm.
How many times have you seen a beautiful person and you hear them talk and you're like, oh, never mind? It's like, whoa, whatever, just don't say anything, because you have this image or this idea of a way a person is, because we're constantly projecting on the outside world what we have on the inside. The problem is that most of what we're projecting is on our unconscious. It's our unconscious mind projecting out. So we don't necessarily understand why we're projecting a certain quality or thing on a person.
Do you think to have a mission and purpose kind of takes away a lot of that because you kind of are more clear on why you are here and what your meaning is?
You will extract yourself from a lot of bullshit in your life if you find a meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
You will spend more time focusing on what you're doing instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing. Yes. The higher you go in your psychological processes, the less victim you are to being distracted, addicted, and being manipulated.
Mm.
We are distracted and manipulated constantly by our environment, by commercials, by the ideas other people have around what we should be and not be. We run around as brand representatives because we think that they represent something virtuous or good or something that you would like to be, when they're just freaking sneakers made in a sweatshop in Thailand. Like, let's get real. Let's look at that and go, that thing is not going to make me a better person, only if it serves me in my life. In whose life? In my life, authentically my life, and to spend the time to actually do the work to figure out what you want and who you are.
Mm.
And that's the work that most people never do. And that's why it was so confusing when I was a kid, because I didn't know who I was. I was still,
Just be the perfect you, Jason.
yeah, just
I'm
be the
like,
perfect
but
me. I'm
what the
like,
who the fuck is that?
dude, I have no idea. Like, I like cookies. I'm chunky. Like, what, I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I still carry around like my Snoopy doll. I don't know. What are we talking about here? I haven't downloaded enough of the outside world in order to connect with it. Who am I? Sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm hungry. Sometimes I'm sleepy. Is that me? No, it's what I'm feeling. Oh, there's something more than what I'm feeling. Oh, let's go a level up. It's the things that I think. Well, sometimes I think good things, sometimes I think bad things, sometimes I think crazy things, sometimes I think logical things. And then, oh my God, I'm more than my thoughts. Wow. And then I'm like, okay, how do I perceive the world? Sometimes I perceive it as very good. Sometimes I perceive it as very bad. Sometimes I see the good in everything and the bad in everything. Oh my God, I'm more than my worldview. And then suddenly you get to a place where you realize, if you're lucky and you've done inner work and you've done some meditation, that you are literally not a part of the story. You are not the story you're telling yourself about your life. You are pure consciousness. And you're constantly creating and recreating your story in a way that fits your values and your vision right then. So the way I see myself in my life is completely different now than when I was 35, right? And when I was 8 and when I was 6. So
Thank God.
being exactly, right? And stepping into the perfect me looks different now than it did then, right? So constantly working on this whole aspect of coming back to yourself so you can make yourself conscious for yourself, figure out who you are. It's kind of like figuring out what your tools are going to be for you to express your great work.
But then I would say then when you manage to come back, then if you want to come back to something different, that's when you have to do the inner work to see what choices you're making to getting the results that you have, right?
That's right.
But then also everybody is actually living from the inside out. They're just not. No, sorry. I see. No, sorry. Everybody's living from the inside out. They're just not aware of it because everything's an expression of you. But the more you discover who you are, the more of the authentically you and not the hypnotic you express from the inside out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes, no. So, yeah, Was that yes, no, maybe?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I what you said there was very good and very correct in that we're constantly taking things in from our outside world and adopting them in our story and personality, right? Um, the question is, are you conscious about what you're taking in? And
No,
are
that was my
you,
whole point. But
yeah,
most likely not.
exactly. And are you repurposing it? And are you creating yourself in your own vision or not? So I would say that the maybe part of that is that a lot of people, because they're downloading this stuff in their unconscious, they're not actually from up down
No,
and
that
from
and
their inside
exactly. There's no up down,
consciously. Yeah, and
but
there's
it's
also no
still
conscious inside out.
exactly. It's not
Exactly.
conscious.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So the more you work, the more conscious the
The
inside out part becomes,
yes,
and the more conscious the up also comes
yes, and the
with the
more
work.
conscious the choosing of that
Exactly.
becomes, right? So, um, if for example, I had a friend. I love this one. And oh, I'm such a good person, and I'm like, yeah, you are, man. You're amazing. Yeah, I'm very virtuous because I'm constantly just picking the organic foods and the fair trade stuff, and I feel the fabric of this. This is like a fair trade shirt, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad that you're trying to be conscious there. Can I see the label in your shirt? And he's like, why? And I'm like, Can I see the label, please?" And he's like, "Okay." And I checked the label, and then I searched the company, and they got busted for using sweatshops, and where kids were working, 12 plus hour days and inhumane conditions. And he's like, "Oh no, man! Now I'm such a shit. I'm such a bad person. I can't believe I did this." And I'm like, "No, no, no, stop. The fact that you were wearing a T-shirt from a company that was busted for bad practices doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It means that that shirt probably is not one you want to invest in twice. Do you want to throw it away? Well, then you throw away the work that these poor kids put into it, and you throw away the energy and money that you put into it. Why would you throw it away? You're not a bad person. This t-shirt in itself is not bad, but now you don't want to buy again from that company, right? So people are often taking things in from the outside that changes the way they perceive themselves, and that's the poison. That's the outside in version of it, right?
Mm.
We're always taking stuff in. We are living inside out, but the way we see ourselves based on what's coming into us, that's the big kicker. So, if you've been involved in something, or you suddenly learn something that you didn't like or whatever, doesn't mean that you're a bad person, right? And that you're broken. It just means that, okay, maybe you want to make a more conscious choice next time. So,
Mm.
um, so I don't know if that made sense, but it's like, who are you? Who decides who you are? You should, right? Not what you're wearing or anything else, or the virtue of the companies that you select. Though it would be nice to have virtuous companies to work with and buy from, right? So understanding that learning a technique and learning things that allow you to come back and recenter yourself when you get distracted, because you are distracted. You're doom scrolling on your mobile phone. You have over 6,000 commercials in different forms that are thrown at you. You're constantly having to go outside of yourself to choose things. How often do we forget ourselves and fall out of ourselves and then end up maybe buying things or doing things that you really didn't expect? I mean, who's ever gone into IKEA or Walmart and you're
Gonna
going in there
have
for
one
one?
carpet.
Yeah, you're going to have that one thing, right? How many things do you come out with?
I have made it a sport to just take that thing
You're
because
amazing.
of the problem of ending up with a cabinet, 14 glasses, a spoon, and most likely forgetting the carpet you were gonna get in the first place.
Exactly. And you probably run through like, ah, like this, like just do not look, right? But because we are distractible, and because we are addicted to stimulus, and because we get tired and our resistance goes down, it's very easy to fall out of ourselves. And having those techniques, like we teach at the integrated human, that we teach at our flow state events, especially, having that to be able to come back makes your life quality. It's extremely important that you have some kind of meditation practice, some kind of coming back practice, because if you don't, you will be a victim of the outside in. You will allow the outside to create your vision of who you are, right? So, yeah, it's very common that you hear the outside in. That's as far as I've gotten in this
Well, not
process.
outside in, but they talk a lot about inside out.
Yeah, you'll hear the catchphrase inside out. They don't say outside, but the world is outside in.
Mm,
The world wants you to believe for you to be a good you have to have the car, the Rolex. You know, you have to have a certain shirt or a certain pair of sneakers, or you have to be able to
mm,
criticize every meal that you eat in
mhm,
a profound way, because then you are somebody, right? How many things in society? Oh, then you'll finally be accepted by the tribe,
mm.
kind of thing, right? So it's a very outside in world we live in, but now we get to hear more inside out work, especially in spiritual work, right? So you and I, we enjoy an astrologer. What her name's Pam something.
Pam
Pam.
Gregory, I think her last name is.
Yeah, Pam
She's
Gregory.
a very nice lady. She has like perm, as if it's a perm. She sits on her couch having a astrology talk. Very fascinating.
Yes, and
Very
what?
fascinating. I know too little about the world,
Yeah,
about astrology but I find it very interesting to listen to her and see that a lot of what she says happens. And that freaks me out a little bit.
yeah. And she does things like, she has she does some pretty specific things. She's like, well, in until February, then there's, old institutions are going to drop, and then the Epstein list comes out, and all of these people who are uppity ups in both royalty and politics are getting nailed,
There's
and
a lot of interesting stuff she
yeah.
comes with. So
And she's like, oil, gold, and gas, and
yeah,
silver's
she's
gonna go
British.
up. And yeah, she's so cute. She's
She's
so
very
cute.
cute.
But it's like, what do you know about investing? This is not investing advice. Just saying. I'm
Yes.
not saying, but it's interesting to see the correlations. But
Mm,
she was the one that I believe I last heard use the word inside out
mm.
work. So she's very interesting to listen to. Um, that's interesting. It's Have you found that when we've been working with the process, that you see people living more authentically? That
I more caught up in this. Yes, the people that are doing work, I'm more caught up that I think I have a lot of frustration around the cats, the people that live as cats and unicorns.
oh
I
yeah,
having a lot of frustration a lot around people saying the words but being crap. Sorry,
yeah,
but they are virtue signaling, and then they're just there's not any substance behind it. It
yeah,
really frustrates me. I think it comes from the fact that I'm doing a lot of the work myself, and I know how hard it is.
hmm,
So I kind of don't like people uh saying they're doing work and not doing it,
hmm,
because I think the world will be a better place if all did more self work. I think if we found a sense of self and actually lived truly from our mission and purpose, we would be more honest with each other. I think we would have deeper conversations. I think we would have less quarreling and
hmm,
arguments, less manipulation,
yeah,
and I still think we could have conflict, but I think conflict would also be better because we can then both agree that we disagree and be at peace with that instead of
hmm,
manipulating and making the other one good and bad. We
yeah,
would actually acknowledge that we just look at this different and that's fine,
yes,
but we can still agree on something else and
yeah,
be friends there.
yeah,
But when it comes to dinner, let's not eat together because you like steak and I like fish,
yeah,
and that's okay.
yeah,
So I think I see a lot of that's why kind of phrases like inside out often annoys me, because they are not authentic. They are
Yeah.
nice phrases. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm living from the inside out.
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah, exactly.
because it's not it's their inside out often are something I need to take into consideration. Like we talked about many times,
Mhm.
if you want to identify as a cat, fine, but then you need to have a kitty box,
Yeah, kitty litter
kitty
box.
litter box. If you're
Yeah.
going to do it all out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or I can acknowledge that you identify as a cat, but I shouldn't have to have 99 different gender on my passport to where
Ex
cat is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm kind of having a little bit issues with that, because a lot of people that use it in a way that society need to take into big consideration for that very small group.
Yes.
But I'm very for owning who you are,
Yeah,
but that is on you, for you. I need to be
exactly.
expressed like that.
Exactly.
I can't expect them, if I'm a cat and work on all four, I can't expect society to build different roads for me so I can get to my work in
Yeah,
a safe
exactly.
way,
Exactly.
working on all fours. Then
Exactly.
I better make a track to the forest,
Yeah.
because then that's I'm choosing to do that,
Yeah.
and I'm doing in a way that society doesn't have to use millions for making cat roads.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my big issue
Yeah.
with it. But I see that the people that are really working on themselves, they, like I said, they have more peace, they handle
Yes.
the world better, they're dealing with stress more better, they are living authentically, but it's also a very strong presence of self.
Yes.
They are stronger in themselves,
Mhm.
and they don't make society adapt to their need,
Mm-mm.
but they make their need kind of work for them, and they acknowledge that I want this, that then I'm saying no to that.
Exactly. Well
So
said.
that one I'm really for.
Mhm.
But it's kind of to I don't like when I would say sacred words are being misused.
Yeah.
I think that also scares a lot of people away from true work that would
Mhm.
benefit from it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so that's a whole thing I have around it.
Yeah.
um,
Exactly.
but I do think living inside or coming in contact with oneself will make us healthier, happier, richer, and more fulfilled, without a doubt.
Yes.
But it also makes society all of that, and
Mhm.
your environment all of that.
Exactly.
Um,
Because it's not just living on the inside, it's living inside out, which indicates a connection between the inside and the outside. That you are who you are in relationship to what?
the outside.
The outside, which means that you have an opportunity to be totally happy, which you're like, well, what do you mean? When who you are on the inside is perfectly suited and finds your place in relationship to the outside, that is called eudaimonia, or Aristotle's version of total happiness. Because it's only when who you are on the inside connects thoroughly and integrates 100% with the outside that you can really experience the flow state and that true happiness. So if you're being you in conflict with the outside constantly, then you're just living on the inside and you're not connecting with the outside. That's the guys who would absolutely positively love to have insulin, but don't want to pay taxes, don't want to contribute to society.
Insulin paid by the government.
Yes, insulin paid by the government, but don't want to contribute at all to society, though they want society to take all the responsibility for them. That's not living from the inside out. That's just living on the inside.
Exactly.
And that's being the unicorn or the cat.
Exactly.
And if you want to be a cat, God bless you. I
Buy yourself a
understand.
kitty litter box.
Get a kitty litter box and also realize that you can't drive a car.
Can't have cats driving
Yeah,
cars.
you can't have cats or dogs or horses driving cars because
Can't
if
have
that
that.
happens,
I'm out of here. No,
yeah,
so I think, and then you have the I think it's very to actually do real work and find out who you are underneath all the trauma we have, and underneath all the manipulation we have, and underneath all of that, and not fall into victimhood or blamehood or justification or whatever. Find out really who you are. And I think that connection, and for myself, it's clears one day, and the other days it's more clouded, and then I don't have connection, and then have to remember. And it's a constant process.
Yeah.
It's not ending,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Mm.
But that's also the thing, I assume.
Mm. That's it. It never
Yeah,
ends. It's always an upgrade, and always an opportunity for a new upgrade, a new perspective, a bigger perspective. Thank God. If you were finished, how boring would it be?
exactly.
Remember, you matter unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then your energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.